Well, hey everyone, welcome back to another Wildwoods Beekeeping chat, and thank you everybody for checking in. I hope everybody can hear me okay, because I've been having some problems over here with my mic and stuff has been unmuting and, being back muted. So I hope everybody can hear, but hope everybody's having a good day. And today for our Wildwoods Beekeeping chat that we do every Monday night, we have Bracken Barcker from Barker Bees and Honey with us tonight. So it's good to have you on here, Bracken. And first, before we get into some of the main chat, I just kind of want to talk about bees and let some people ask questions. If you could just kind of share with us a little bit of who you are and kind of how you got into beekeeping, if you could.
Yeah, my name's Bracken. I've been beekeeping really consistently for about 3 years. I got into bees quite a few years back with my dad. I got back in like 2012, 2013. My dad and I got a couple colonies. We own a 100-acre farm, and we decided we needed to have bees on there, and we tried it. Didn't succeed. We actually kept the bees alive for probably 3 years, and we didn't do any mite checks. We didn't do any mite wash, nothing. So the ones we got lucky, but after we lost them, we decided that it wasn't financially, my dad didn't want to keep doing it, and I was at a point where I financially couldn't do it. So I took a break for a while, and I always found it interesting whenever I'd see bees or boxes on the side of the road. It fascinated me. I knew about bees. I didn't know the extent of them, what I know now, but some of you may have heard my story. I talked on Bruce's channel a little while ago. I joined the military. I got pretty involved into some drinking, and I quit drinking, and I started beekeeping. And that's been my new love and my new addiction. So I got into it because I could financially get into it at the point I was at, and I decided I was going to take it serious. I love farming. I love agriculture. I love how it meshes together. So that's how I got into bees.
Yeah. Good story. And, I watched a little bit of your interview with, Bruce, and that's kind of where I actually found you a while back. And, I subscribed to your channel and stuff, and, good stuff on there. I'm not always able to watch all the videos because I have like 150 or 100, almost 200 subscriptions on my thing. But I try to watch as many videos and as of yours and a lot of other people as well, and good stuff there. And that's one thing that it's just unbelievable. Keeping bees. Going out there, and it's just something that you can't describe. But it's just a real joy to me to do it. And, I just kind of ended up doing these live streams to get people on to talk about bees because, that's one of my favorite things to do is talk about bees. So, good story there. And it's really, good to have you on. The next thing I kind of want to quickly talk about, since we are here in, September. So, we're in, September. I know a lot of people are probably trying to get ready for winter. So just tell us a little bit about kind of what you're doing now, temporarily, trying to get your bees built up for winter, kind of what you're doing for your own ways and some things that you're kind of trying to do to boost up your bees for the winter upcoming.
Yeah, so I'm located in northern Utah. Our temperatures are getting down. They're starting to get cool. I don't know what this week looks like anyways, but I harvested my honey on Labor Day weekend. And after that, I immediately put some pollen patties on them. I gave them some sugar syrup. I gave them about a 1.5 to 1 mix, just trying to get them fattened up a little bit. I'd like to be done. I think I am done feeding syrup right now. I'd like to be done for sure by the 1st of October. I don't want them going into winter, and winter can come really quick here in Utah. I mean, we can be sunshine one day and snow the next day. And I want to make sure that I have most of that, syrup that I put in there. They get it in, they get it dried out, and they get it used or whatever. But I treated for mites. I like to use the oxalic acid sponges from Randy Oliver. I think those have been huge. I've used those in my operation, and they've been fantastic. I love them. Let's see, what else have I been doing? Mite washes are good. My mite counts are looking pretty good. I got a couple that are, a 3 or a 4, not percent, but 3 or 4 mites. I always treat like there's mites. I treat regardless, even if I get a low wash. I use a oxalic acid vaporizer. I just did a round of that last week. I've got to get another round done this week, and I'll do that 3 or 4 times. I am going to ship my bees to California on November 15th. I will be driving them down to Chico, California, and that's going to be interesting. I've shipped bees in the past to California, but I've always just took them over to another beekeeper, and he loaded them and took them for me. But things got changed, and now I'm going to do it myself, because I'm a big believer, if you want it done right, do it yourself. Or if you screw up, the only person you can blame is yourself. So
That's right.
So that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm just getting my bees heavy. I want them to go in, I want them to brood up a lot right here. I want them to get going, getting a lot of brood. So when November hits, I can take them down, and they'll be, busting at the seams with bees. So they look good for the almond pollination. And
yeah, definitely.
That's the plan.
Nice. Well, down here, we're down here in Alabama, so, we don't have those as cold temperatures up there as, you guys up there in Utah do. I'm sure you'll have much more colder temperatures than us, but, we still have 2 more months of decent warm weather. But I'm actually today I actually got some feed on, and I'm feeding the bees right now because a couple of my colonies are kind of light, so I need to kind of get them a little bit more heavy, because I actually had a colony that actually starved due this early because they were low. And you know what? And actually the day before I found out about that, I actually opened them up and they were doing pretty good. And I told myself tomorrow I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna feed these bees. And right when I get out there, it's too late. So that's kind of how that happened. But lately, all the other bees are doing really good. They're really strong. And right now we're feeding. And I'm actually kind of the same way. I actually did some tests and stuff like that, and I actually on one of my tests I only found 2 mites or something like that, 2 mites, and I still went ahead and treated because I had a good bit of treatments. Apigar down here, that's what I'm treating with this year. Last year I treated with Apivar, so I'm kind of switching it up between Apigar and Apivar. So I decided to use Apigar this year, so I just put those on, even though it wasn't as high mite load. I kind of want to go on and knock them down a good bit as much as I can. And then right now, the main focus is just, feeding down here. It's trying to get my bees built up.
Right. What temperature is the Apigard? Right. What is its temperatures recommended? I've never used Apigard.
Yeah.
What's the temperature on that it recommends?
Well, I can't remember directly. I'm sure it says it on the box. I actually brought the box inside. But if I can remember correctly, it's probably going to be not mid-range, maybe 80s or something like that. If I can remember correctly,
it can't be super hot, right?
That's right. I remember it. It can't be super hot. Cooler. It needs to be kind of cool. And the time I'm treating it, it's actually not. It actually hasn't been as hot down here. Not too much humidity, but this weekend it was actually pretty warm. So we're kind of still in the warm temperatures, but not too hot. So my Apigard's been doing, I think, pretty good. I wanted to go on treat with that, and I think that's the range. I don't know the exact temperature, and I have to look at that.
Yeah, maybe
but I do believe
drop a comment and tell us.
Yeah, somebody dropped a comment and tell us, but I don't think it can get too hot. But somebody can in the comments can tell us. But that's kind of what I'm doing, and it's just treating. And I still have some Apigard on. I'm kind of finishing up some of that, but some of the Apigard's already done, so I already took some of the Apigard out and put some feed on. I actually feed with Apis Biologics. That's just kind of supplement. And while we're on feeding, what do you feed? I know, do you like 2-to-1 or 1-to-2? What's your kind of method for feeding? And do you use any supplements, or do you just use just sugar syrup?
I once in a while I'll splash a little bit of you had to ask, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like a probiotic stuff that you can mix with the sugar syrup. I just feed just straight sugar syrup. I just buy the sugar cane from Kent's at our local grocery store. I don't really add anything specific to it. I like to feed 1-to-1 because it's cheaper, but in the fall time, I, do try to get that a little thicker.
Yeah.
As far as supplements adding to it, I don't really add a lot of supplements. I wish I could remember what the name of it. It's supposed to help it keep from fermenting, like your sugar syrup.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a local stuff that my buddy actually bought it for me at the local beekeeping store just down a ways. But I just use a big tote. I just use an IBC tote, and I usually heat the water before I put the syrup in. I put in one of those trough. It's not a trough heater. It's a bucket heater is what it's called. It's about that big, and I just plug it in overnight, stick it down in the water, and it actually gets the water pretty dang warm. And then I go the next day and I add all my sugar to it. That helps it mix real well. And then once that's done, I let it sit for a day or two so it goes back to that room temperature, or you know what I mean, kind of the outside temperature. Because I went to feed once and I splashed some of the water on me, and I didn't realize how hot it was, and I probably would have hurt some of my bees because it hurt my hand a little bit as hot as it was. But so after that, I let it sit for a day or two, and then I go in there and I just have a pump and I just feed it in. I use bucket feeders. I feed from the top with a hole on the top. How do you feed?
Oh, I use buckets. I use 1-gallon buckets. With I don't know. I used to be able to remember. It's just like very small screens on the top. Like very, very small. It's like
what Stepler uses.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Ian up there. Those I got them off of I can't remember that either. It's been a while. But it's just these little lids. I actually did a video a while back talking about it. I'm sure somebody can go back a long way and find that. But I use 1-gallon buckets, and I usually do 1-to-1 and actually sometimes I'll do it even thinner than that. Just depends on what time of the year it is. Lately, I was kind of low on sugar, so I've been trying to not use as much in my buckets. But I plan on getting some more sugar sometime this week to feed a little bit more, because this week, I've been planning on feeding a lot more. And I use supplements. I use Apis Biologics, and I use another product called Brood Booster. Just kind of, I guess it's something to brood, get the bees to brood more, something like that. That's what it's called. I use that, and most of all my colonies right now, like queens are laying good. They have like at least 4 of them are like 7 to 10 frames full of bees, and the other one, my other colony, is more like 5 frames, which I just got to keep building that colony up, and I'm keep building these hives up, and I'll be pretty good going in the winter. I'm thinking.
Heck yeah!
I see we got Ian down there because
I just saw that.
Hey Ian, how you doing?
Hold on. Sorry, I had to shut a door.
Russell Koopman asks, Bracken, will you visit your bees during the winter to feed and check your bees in California?
So I actually have a buddy that is going to tend to that for me. He'll obviously take a cut of the payment from the almonds, but I'm just going to take them down there. I'll drop them off, get them staged, ready to go, or wherever he needs them offloaded. He's going to get them into the orchards for me with his bees. I got to talk more detail with him shortly. We're going to get that game plan a little bit more, but I might try to run down or fly down one day and go, help him if I need to. If not, but I don't know. As of right now, I don't have plans to go there because I trust this guy. He's going to, do it for me, and I got stuff to tend to here. But then when they're done, I will drive back down and I'll pick them up and bring them home and then start my process here in Utah. So,
oh, yeah, definitely. So I know you might have mentioned it earlier, but how many colonies do you have in total in your apiary? Because I might have forgot.
I'm between 35 and 40 right 40. Now.
Cool.
Yeah, I actually just checked. I checked all my bees. I checked them yesterday, and knock on wood, but all my bees were looking pretty sweet. Queens were doing good. I didn't make a video. I should have. I'm regretting it now, but it was one of those days where I had some time to get out and get it done. So I got out and I got it done, and I didn't record. I need to do better at doing that, but
sometimes
happens.
Go ahead. Sometimes I'm the same way whenever I get out of the bee yard and I get into some colonies and I decide not to take the equipment out there because maybe I think it might be too much, and then after that I just regret doing it, not taking stuff out there. So sometimes I experience the same, and sometimes that happens whenever you it just happens. It happens to me all the time. But a lot of times I just take my equipment out to my bee yard and I just go out there and film stuff and put it into a video, and try to make some type of topic out of it, like whether it be, I'm trying to inspect the colony, show people what this exact colony is doing, or maybe if I'm wanting to show people what my apiary is looking like, stuff like that. I'm just kind of like a guy who just shows people what I'm doing and kind of how I'm doing it, and then once in a while I'll do a little video, about feeding, kind of how I feed, and some I could say tips, but more like, my personal view on feeding and kind of what I do. And if people like it, people can use it. If people don't, they can just figure out other things that work for them. That's just kind of how I do my channel. And that gets me to my next question is, how did you make your channel? Because a lot of people ask me that question, how did I make my channel? So I wanted to ask you and kind of turn the tables a bit. So how did you start making videos and uploading content to your YouTube channel and start gaining attraction?
Oh, I just did it. I thought, I'm going to make my first videos are pretty rough, and my videos are still pretty rough. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty raw. I know a lot of people do way better job than I do on videos. They edit, I do have a microphone that I really like. Bruce suggested that, and I do think that helps a lot, keeping the wind out and stuff. But then again, you have people like good old Ian Stepler up there that just uses his phone and
that's right,
holds it. And I think his videos are phenomenal. Those are not that I love everybody else's videos too, but I like the raw footage. I don't I do like the editing because it does make it nice as far as information wise and getting pointed across.
That's right.
I'm not necessarily doing my YouTube channel to inform you guys on how to beekeep. I'm assuming most of the people who watch these serious videos probably know more about beekeeping than I do. I'm not here to teach anybody. If somebody can, like you said, if somebody can learn something or see something they like, great. If not, I want to help people in my local area. I've got a few people that I'm starting to get a little bit of traction with the local people around here in bees, and they ask, how do I do this? When do I do this? And instead of explaining them over a text for 20 minutes, I shoot them a video, shoot them a link to a video. And I want to get to where I have those links, how I do mite treatments, how I feed my bees, not how you should, but here's how I do it. Take it, use it, the information if you want.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I do too. I'm not really too fancy on stuff. Sometimes I'll try to get my thumbnails decent, but I'm just not. I guess I'm not the best thumbnail creator or stuff. I do
Yeah.
take my videos through an editor and cut out some bad parts, and then after that, there's some videos where I really don't do much to it. I just skim through it really fast and then just do nothing to it through the editor, and then I just upload it. And sometimes those videos do much better than all the fancy and edited videos. Sometimes, for some reason, whenever I upload, I try to do fancy stuff and very decent editing on it. Sometimes it doesn't get as many whatever attraction. And then whenever I do things that I don't even try too hard on, I just do things that I like to do, people really react to it. So that's what I try to do, is just upload content and do things that people would appreciate, and just kind of show people kind of what I do. It's what I love to do. I love to do that, and I have like a little audience, a lot of people who watch, and I do these Monday night streams. I get like try to get as many guests as I can on Monday nights. Like you, I've got like Bob Bainey on here.
I know you had.
I got like Ian Stepler down there. I got him on. Like Randy McCaffrey and all these other guys like Frederick Dunn. And recently I did get Chris Werner on the chat. That was, a lot of great guys, including yourself too. I got a lot of people on these streams. It's unbelievable. And I plan on keeping to do these things. It's really fun to reach out to people and being the celebrity, yeah. But that's just I do these live streams. It's fun to do. I love to bring people in and let them talk their points and their ideas and things that they like to do, and including yourself too. So it's fun to do, and I really like it.
And I'm super grateful for the opportunity to talk bees and this will help my channel. Bruce has helped me with my channel. I like I said, I'm not trying to be famous or none of that. I love the community. I love watching the videos. I love relating. It's so cool how many beekeepers I've talked to over the whole world, and it's just, I don't know. I remember started watching these videos and seeing the big guys, Bob Benny and Bruce and Ian, and your videos, and there's a lot of other beekeepers out there, and it's crazy to think that I've talked to some of them.
Same here, yeah. Sometimes, whenever I go back and, a lot of times I just go back through my channel and look at all the people I have. I'm like, wow, I'll talk to all these people. It's just unbelievable how many people I've talked to, and how many people, who know who I am and know what I'm doing. And, that's the fun part about it, making beekeeping, friends and people who can help you out when you need it, or maybe if somebody needs, if I need to ask somebody for a tip, somebody's already there to answer it. Actually on this chat, not every week, I'm not able to get a guest on every week. Sometimes I'm busy, I can't schedule people, and I just sometimes I do it by myself. And during those live streams, a lot of times I'll just go on live streams and tell people kind of what I'm struggling with, and if you guys have any tips and things, let me know what I could do that might make it better. Sometimes that's how I do, and on my channel, I'm not nervous to ask for any information if I need it. Just kind of, that's what I do. And that's what most people know that I do on here.
Yeah, I like that. You're welcome to ask me anytime. I'll come talk bees with you. If I can make it, I'll do it. I hope we can do it again, and I'd like to try to get, have you. I don't know how to actually set up
live streams.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk after sometime, or I can talk to Bruce or somebody and kind of get that figured out, and maybe I could do a couple where I start having some people on. I think that'd be. I think.
Awesome. Just let me know and let other people know, and I'm sure a lot of people will join you. Including me. That'd be fun. Let's see. Now, let's talk about this. I just kind of want to talk a little bit about mite treatments for a second, and then we'll also, I do want to say people can ask questions if they'd like to. Me or Bracken, ask some questions, and we'll answer them as quick as we can. I kind of want to real quick talk about mite treatments. I just kind of want to ask you what I know you talked about. You use the sponges. Do you use anything else, or you kind of mainly use the sponges, and kind of how you do that?
No, so I use Apivar strips.
Oh,
I've yeah, really about, let's see, I've never tried like the Apiguard.
yeah,
I've done, let's see, I like the Apivar strips. I put them in the springtime, let them go for their, I think it's like 40 something days, whatever it is exactly. I pull it off, and then I usually check my mites, see where I'm at. That puts me kind of into June, July-ish. Let's see, I'm trying to think here. I'm totally, I might be way off my time scale here, but I put those in first, treat, see how they're doing, and then either add my sponges and let them go till they're basically dry or falling out. And they get, I just use the Swedish sponges that I get off Amazon, and they
yeah,
crumble. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but I wait till they either dry up or they crumble out and the bees haul them all off and get rid of it. And then I'll check again. And then in the wintertime, or before I send them, the ones that I keep here in Utah, I use my oxalic acid vaporizer. And like I said, I just try to hit them 3 or 4 times in a row for 3 or 4 weeks, try to get that brood pattern. Basically, that's all I've been doing. And it's been fairly successful for me, knock on wood. I would like to try the Apiguard, the little gel stuff that you put on the cards.
yeah.
But I don't know. I need to just do it and try it. That's what I sit and say all the time. I'll just do it, try it. I was scared of grafting queens and trying queens, and then I just did it. And it's still pretty complicated, but it's not as bad as I thought it was,
Oh, yeah, I get you. I've used Apivar too. Apivar to me is like, really an easy thing to use. It's like really simple and basic, and I'm gonna use more of that. I plan on using that in spring next year. Try to get some of that for my spring treatment. And really the only true treatments I've really used so far is Apivar and Apiguard. And before I used this Apiguard, the only thing I used was Apivar, and I used that and put that in the colonies. I just wanted to kind of change it up and see what this product would do, and see, kind of play around with some stuff. And a lot of times I say I'll try something, and I just say, hey, I'll just go and get this, and let's try this out and see how it works, and do it. And it's I think it's working. I think it's working pretty good, and we'll do some more tests later on. Once we're fully done with the treatments. But then, other than that, last thing we gotta do is feed, and then we'll be set up for winter. Now our winters isn't too harsh down here. I know temperatures up there may be way colder, and much more should I say, more snow and stuff like that. But down here, it's a lot of times, we can have sunny days and days in the high 60s down here during winter, during September and stuff. And I remember recently, and it was January 1st, and we were doing like a little thing for that. And when we went outside, it was just in January, and it's just warm. I think it's like in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it was so nice, and had shorts on, and it was really nice, and bees were flying. Bees were kind of getting out of the hives, and it was unbelievable that. And then we did have one small little cold snap during our winter. It was like it went down into like the low 20s and maybe the high teens, with the wind factor in there. Other than that, it wasn't too cold, but it was still enough to. I had a bad year last year. It still knocked down my numbers a good bit because last year, we didn't have a good flow. I don't know if you were affected by that, but down here we had like a cold snap in like April or maybe even March, and that killed everything because everything already bloomed before that, and that cold snap hit, and everything died, and it didn't know, is it spring or is it winter? So it just kind of, everything got confused. The bees got confused, and then that DERF was very brutal. We got up to like 15, 16 colonies, and then everything crumbled down to like maybe 7 or 6 or something like that. And then we went in with 6 and came out with only 1 colony. So, that was rough. But this year, we had a much better year. Bees are doing much better. Much better.
Good. My spring was this year wasn't. Last spring we had a really, really wet spring, and we had a lot of rain. I mean, a lot of rain for Utah. You guys get a lot more rain than we get in one storm than we get all year. I think Utah's average rainfall is like 7 or 8 inches a year. So that tells you it's pretty low.
Oh, yeah.
But all the farmers, black hay, or they were letting their alfalfa bloom because purple hay sells for more than black hay does. And when it gets rained on and wet and turns black, so a lot of the farmers weren't cutting their alfalfa fields. So that spring, man, it was phenomenal. I actually did a harvest in July and on Labor Day weekend. So I got 2 harvests that year. I checked my bees, popped the lid one day and was like, holy crap, I've got to pull some honey. Like, they're getting plugged up because I had all that alfalfa blooming all over the valley. Well, this year it's been kind of the opposite. It's been super dry, super hot. We had multiple days in a row where it was over 100 degrees, 102, 103, which is pretty abnormal for. We always hit the hundreds, a couple times a year, but not consistently. No rain, it was rough. So anything that was producing a flower wasn't necessarily producing nectar. It was drying up and withering away before it. And this year I had more colonies that I pulled honey off of, but I got less honey this year than I did last year. I had, but it just shows how much Mother Nature can change everything. One year you can have 50 colonies and get a whole bunch of honey, and next year you have 70 colonies and not get any more honey than what you got with the 50 colonies.
That's right. That's how it works. Yeah, definitely.
The thing I love about, and I'm kind of going to go off a little tangent here, maybe not a tangent, but to me, what I love the most is beekeeping. I didn't realize how much it is like livestock. We've had cattle and stuff. I grew up on this farm, and we've raised cows. We've had horses. We've had different animals. And you don't just take. Now, I'm not the status as some beekeepers on here where they have big ranches and big cattle industries. But to me, and it's just like beekeeping. If you have 2 hives and somebody's got 1,000 hives, they're learning the same basic stuff. It's not the same, but it's kind of the same. Somebody with 10 cows and somebody with 1,000 cows, you still have cows, right?
That's right.
But I love how much goes into beekeeping as far as the livestock ends, or like the livestock side. You feed them, you got to vaccinate them, you got to maintain their pollen, just like a herd of cattle. You don't take a herd of cattle and go put it on the mountain and then just forget about them for 6 months. You go up, you check on your cows, you make sure the moms are still feeding, you make sure they don't have mastitis, you make sure they don't have these problems. And if they do, you address them and you fix them. Just like bees, you check your queens. Your queen's not laying. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's the same mindset as having livestock. It's just a bug, and it's a little bit more. There's a lot to it. And I'm not trying to compare that keeping cattle and keeping bees are the same. What I'm trying to express is the same concepts.
That's right.
The care for them. A lot of people think you buy bees and just go put them in a box, like I did my first year. First 3 years that I had them. I just thought, oh, you put them out here and then go get the honey and collect them, later, and off you go. but I love that part of beekeeping, and I love how it goes hand in hand with farming. Most farmers don't like to cut their alfalfa when it blooms because it's less profitable. But now that I'm a beekeeper, like, I like to let the alfalfa bloom a little bit longer so those bees get that extra boost. And it's just funny how things have changed. And yeah, I love it. I love beekeeping.
Oh yeah, me too. And I use the same mindset. I've always on my live streams I've talked about the same thing. Beekeeping is, like you said, I agree with you 100%. That's something that I've always talked about on my channel and tried to share that to more beekeepers. Maybe there's some new beekeeper that comes across my channel looking for beekeeping stuff, and if they're on there, I just say beekeeping is something, more than just putting bees in a box and thinking you don't gotta do nothing and get honey. That's the main reason. The cool thing you brought this up is, whenever actually I got into this bigger YouTube channel, I was kind of small. I had like 20 subscribers. I wasn't doing, I wasn't really big. I just decided to upload videos like a year or two prior. And at that point it was 2022, like in fall. It was fall, and I was recording videos mainly for my family to see, and maybe local people who like to see stuff. That's the main thing I was really doing it for. But I did a video called a beekeeper versus a bee haver. You might have heard that term, bee haver. So different term that that we it kind of goes with people who think put bees in a box and get honey. That's kind of what the term I used it for. And I did that video, and a beekeeper found me that had a good following on YouTube, and he wanted me to come on his live stream and stuff. And his name is Bob, and not Bob Benny, a different Bob, Bob Walker. He got me on his live stream, and
I think I follow him.
What's it? Walker Bee Ranch. This is
Oh yeah.
He got me on his live stream. They do it on Tuesdays, and that's kind of where more people in this chat found me from. And that's kind of where my channel jumped. And then I actually went on the stream teams beekeeping chat for a little bit and chatted with them for a little bit. So that's kind of, then I kept climbing. I went to Hive Life 2023, and I met a lot of people there. Unbelievable amount of people there.
I'd love to go to that.
Yeah. We went to that 2023. We didn't go to the in any conferences in 2024. We were pretty busy that week because we just have everything. So we just decided, since we did 23, we'll just stay here in 24 and hang out here with the bees and stuff. So, but yeah, that's kind of where my channel started, and that's what I've always when we go back to trying to take care of our bees, bees, you can't just put them in a box and expect them to do so well and get all the honey you can get from them, because a lot of people think that. And I just I've always looked at it the same way you do. And that's the cool thing, whenever I get beekeepers on, a lot of beekeepers think the same way as me. Is and tonight, everything you said, things are what I talk about, and I'm like, wow, a lot of people share the same interest in things as I do, and that's really never cool thing about beekeeping and talking to other beekeepers too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's see, if anybody wants to put any questions in the comment section. We have a good amount of people in here. We have like Russell Amon in here, Mary Wickenheiser in Michigan, Carl, Tim and Hannah from Gunline Bees, Russell Koopman, a lot of good people in here. So thank you all for checking in tonight. Yeah, and Bracken, if you don't know Bracken's channel, just search up Barker's Bees and Honey. I think that's your channel name, and it should come right up, and you can. I think Tim, that's Tim right there, Gunline Bees. He put up the link, so hopefully that link will show up, and you guys can click that and just go check his channel out. A lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. There was a guy I noticed in the comments. Like I said, I'm not good at I can't type a comment on my. I don't know how to comment on this. I had to use my phone to comment.
Like,
But there's a guy from Lehigh that said down south from me. I wanted to mention him. Where's he at? Let's see. Egan Homestead Apiary. It says, Bracken, I would greatly appreciate play-by-plays from you since I'm just south of you in Lehigh. See, that's why I do it right there. You know, if I hope I'm saying his name, Egan, correct. You know, if I can help that guy figure out the next little step, like, it's worth it. It's fun. I learned the hard. Well, I've learned the hard way, but I studied a lot. You know, I got every book I could find, but there's only so much you can learn from a book. Let's be real.
that's right.
A lot of people can learn from books. But also knowledge. Having knowledge and knowing how to do things is completely different. You might know how to treat for mites book-wise, but until you go out and treat for mites or do a mite wash, it's a whole different ball game. You know, it's not. You can read books all day long and say, oh, yeah, I can do that. I can do this. But until you go and do it and get that experience, that hands-on, that's where you start really knowing whether or not it's pretty easy on YouTube to watch somebody do a mite wash, but doing a mite wash when you're getting stung, when it's hot, when you got sweat dripping in your eyes, and, you know, a whole different ball game.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But
very much.
But there is a lot of good information on YouTube. There is a lot of good people that but then again, beekeeping is so regional that what you do versus what I do right now, we're on two separate, I mean, kind of the similar, but, you know, we're gearing up for different ball games here.
That's right.
And Ian, you know, Ian's gearing up for getting them in his shed and getting them ready for who knows how long they'll be in there, you know, and I just want to help the local. I want to be able to help people around me, you know, this area, and just that's it. Nothing else.
Definitely. To be Brat's Carl, he says, Grayson, can you give us an update on how your hives and production has been this year? Sure. Well, you know, like I said, one of my colonies did you know, like 2-3 weeks ago, you know, didn't make it. It was a smaller kind of colony, and it didn't make it because it starved, unfortunately. Because the day prior, if you guys didn't watch earlier, the day prior, I opened that colony up. I looked at them, and the first thought came to my mind is that I'll go on and feed them and get these bees built up for winter, and they'll be all good. And then next day, I went in there, and it just, unfortunately, it just, you know, the bees weren't, you know, there. And I actually had and that's unfortunate there. I see Stan Gord on there. Good to see you, Stan. And overall, but other than that, everything has been going really well for us down here. We all the colonies that we have that are in the BR right now are like 6 to 10 frames full of bees. Like one of my colonies, like 10 frames full of bees, and another one's like 7 frames full of bees, nothing but bees, and the queen's laying really good. I'm gonna continue feeding them, building the brood up, getting a nice little cluster for winter. And then the other colonies have like 7 to 6 frames of brood in there. And going to winter, that's really what I want. I actually had a colony that only was on 3 frames of brood. So and it did fantastic going through winter. And that was actually the only colony that made it through winter last year. So the productivity has been good this year. The bees are doing really well. All the colonies that I have right now are really healthy. Getting done feeding. And they're doing really well on feeding. And other than that, that's pretty much kind of what's going on here. Nothing big's been going on. That's why I haven't been doing as many videos lately, because I haven't had as many exciting things going on. Like in spring and early summer, man, I had so many videos coming out because I was looking behind my back and I kept having things going on, and I had good videos this year that I was able to publish. But my bees I'm doing pretty good. I see Tim has a question for you. I think you might respond to it. It says, Barker bees, are y'all generational beekeepers or something you started?
So I, back in 2012, 13, my father and I both decided to try bees one time. It was my idea to do so. We tried it for a little while, didn't work out so well. And then later on, I ended up getting back into it about 3 years ago. I think next spring will actually be my 4th year. I don't know. I'd have to, my thing says 2022, but I actually started keeping bees like a year and a half before that. And I just did this. I actually opened a little business and went and got a business license and stuff, and, trying to do it just, doing my own thing. But I started it. Guess I could say my dad kind of helped me get into it. But again, it was my idea back in 2012, 2013 area. I was the one who talked him into getting bees. So hope that answers your question. Okay. I hope my son, a couple of you have so Nash is my son. He just turned 9. I'm a terrible father because I've been saying he was 9, but his birthday was actually just yesterday, and he just turned 9. But for a 8-year-old being in the bees, he's a pretty good egg. He's pretty tough, hard worker. And I hope someday, I don't know, we'll see where this goes, but I hope someday that maybe Nash could step in and, take this. So if he wanted, I want this to be, we have the farm. He's going to help on the farm. But this is an opportunity that I can maybe present to my kids. I've got 4 kids. I've got 3 daughters and 1 son, and another one on the way that hasn't been mentioned yet, except here on live. So, but I'm hoping Nash maybe will someday get into this beekeeping, and it's good. You're not going to make a killer off of it. Some beekeepers do, I think they really do, but it's just, if he's doing bees, and he's working bees, he's probably not going to be in as much trouble as he would be somewhere else, because he's going to be busy in the bee yard, and that I just want, that's another reason why I think I'm doing it deep down. It's kind of dawning on me right now, actually, as we're talking about this, but I'm not just doing this for me. I want my kids to have opportunities, and I want them to be able to take advantage of what they have. Or not take advantage. I've got the resources. I've got tractors. I've got a farm. If it's something my kids love, I'll start it and they can take over it. And maybe someday they'll make something out of it. You know what I mean? I'll just be the guy on the back burner that started it. But there's another quick little tangent. There's a Cox Honey across the mountain from us. Half it's family owned. The son runs the beekeeping. I could be wrong. They might have switched and exchanged hands, but I know that the son used to be the beekeeper, and the daughters sold the honey and the wax and all the gift shop stuff. And they straight up make a living out of it. That is what they do full time for a job, and I think they're pretty successful. They got forklifts, they've got trucks, they've got, they're the big deal. And it just started, their dad or their grandpa started it, and it just kind of went on. So anyways, I rambled on that.
Oh, no worries. But yeah, I actually started beekeeping when I think I was about 8 or something like that, maybe. And, my mom started it really. And then, like a year or 2 later, I decided to do it by myself. And, I'm the only one who goes out of the bee yard now. And I just go out there and, I try to go out there, once or twice a week just to check things, make sure everybody's doing well. Make sure, mainly, I go out there and check on the food supply and make sure I don't need to take food off and put more food on. That's kind of what I'm starting to do now. I'm not trying to get into them as much, but I still am getting into them enough to make sure the queens are still doing good, make sure the queens aren't failing, or make sure they have a queen and stuff like that. That
right.
is really important. But, I haven't been doing it going into the hives as much, since, right now. But I've just been kind of feeding, and the next year we'll try to expand more. I kind of stay around, like, my main, like, lately I've been staying around, like, 13 to, like, 7 or something like that. Kind of been kind of consistent around there. So, next year hope to come out with about what 7 or something like that. At least 6 or something like that. And if I can come out with that amount of bees, and then I can split them and getting even more bees. So that's gonna be my main goal. We actually have another question here from Stan Gore. We actually got Stan on the live stream a while back, and it's good to see him on here in the chat. Hey Bracken, what's blooming in Utah? Do you get much of a fall flow?
So off top hand, I mean, alfalfa is on the last cutting. It'll be, we're coming up on third and fourth crop on some fields. Some of that's blooming here and there. Rabbit brush is blooming. Rabbit brush is just like a sagebrush type plant, really dry desert plant. Maybe you know what rabbit brush is. I didn't know what it was until I Googled it because I seen bees on it. But we have some aster that's blooming, aster plants. Russian sage is blooming. I have a list of actually fall plants that bloom in Utah, but I can't think of them all off the top of my head right now. But I know those ones are blooming for sure. But we don't get a very huge fall flow. It's pretty mellow here in the fall in Utah, especially as dry as it's been. It's been pretty rough.
I get you. Down here right now we have a lot of pollen coming in, a lot of yellow pollen, which is goldenrod. Usually we have a decent goldenrod flow coming in down here in Alabama. We're down here in southeastern Alabama, and we usually have a good goldenrod flow. Most of the time we'll have a good little flow coming in. Right now we do have goldenrod out and about. I've been seeing it lately, a lot of it too. Bees are bringing in pollen like crazy right now. It's unbelievable. Like almost every single bee I'm seeing that's coming into some of my colonies, all of them, most of them are just nothing but pollen. Just unbelievable how much pollen and nectar I'm sure is coming in too. I've just been, even though I do have this nectar and pollen coming in, I'm still feeding my sugar water because a lot of my colonies are, what should I say, like not all the way like light, but they are kind of not as heavy as I would like them to be right now. But we still do have a lot more fall left down here. But here soon we'll be getting into more like 80s and stuff because we've actually been in the low 90s, high 80s, and I think tomorrow we're supposed to be like 85 degrees or something. So it'll be nice tomorrow. Not too hot, not too chilly. So it'll be a nice day tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll get a little bit more cooler. Usually around this time it's still been hot. It hasn't been as humid as it has been in like July. In July it was just humid, hot and humid. It's just not a good combination.
Yeah, Bruce about killed me down there when I went down to Alabama.
He's actually not too far away from me. He's in Dothan. He's like an hour southeast of me, so not too far. Bruce, I actually had Bruce on this channel, what, three or four times, something like that.
Yeah, I've seen.
I've had him.
Yeah, he's a pretty good dude.
Oh yeah,
check his channel out.
Yeah. I'll watch him for a good bit.
Everybody on here knows who Bruce is, so
yeah. I think most people in my chat know who Bruce is because we've had him a good bit, and I remember whenever I kind of got my YouTube channel going, I saw Bruce and I subscribed to his channel because somebody told me a couple beekeepers to go look at and subscribe to whenever I was on that live stream, my first live stream that not Bob Beanie, but the other Bob got me on, and most people said check out 628 Dirt Rooster, Randy,
yep.
And Bruce, and maybe Bob Beanie too. They mentioned a couple, and then I check them out. Then I keep finding more beekeepers and keep subscribing to more channels and getting to know more beekeepers, and kind of where I'm at today, where I've got all these beekeepers on and I know a lot of people, And that's one of my favorite parts about beekeeping, as we talked about a lot in our chat. It's just unbelievable. Being able to talk about bees and hearing other people's opinions, and that's the main reason why I get beekeepers on, is to have a good little chat, get to know people, and to talk about opinions on bees and stuff like that. It's just really fun to do. And before we still have 5 minutes left, so if anybody has any final questions, please do leave them in the chat box where you can chat and stuff. It's unbelievable, like whenever I do my live streams, it's like the time goes up pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was a fast hour.
It was.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. Sometimes it just goes by really quickly. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Grayson, let's do it again. I appreciate your invite and doing this, and I'd love to do it with you. I'll come on anytime and talk bees. And
so like probably in a next month or two or something like that, once I get more people on, I'll probably text you, and we'll get you on again and talk more about bees. Once we get more into the winter, we'll talk more about winter and stuff like that.
Let's do it after I take my bees to California. That'll be an adventure. We can have something to talk about.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's November 15th is the day I'm scheduled to take them down there. So
okay, cool. So we'll try to get you on sometime after sometime after November 15th, maybe even early December, something like that. But yeah, it was definitely a fun time talking to you. I really do appreciate you, coming on here and doing this live stream, and it was really fun to do, and we appreciate you joining us, and hope everybody who doesn't know you, if somebody doesn't know you, make sure to check them out. BARKER Bees and Honey. Make sure to check them out. Just search up the name right there on the left corner. Yep. You just search that up, and it should come right up.
Yep, should come. Look for that little symbol. That's what my icon looks like. So if you find something that looks similar to that, you got it.
That's right. Well, I guess thank you everybody for watching our Monday night live stream. It's really fun to do, and thank you Bracken for coming on tonight.
You bet.
Definitely. So thank you all for watching, and everybody have a good night.
Yeah, good night everybody.